This podcast is brought to you by Civic Plus. For all of our park and recreation pros, do you feel like you're constantly putting out fires? Registrations, facility bookings, team calendars, it's a nonstop juggling act. And all that admin work keeps you from what really matters, serving your community. That is where Civic Plus comes in. Their comprehensive parks and recreation management solution streamlines everything, from online registration to facility scheduling and payments, all in one place. Parks and Recreation Management by Civic Plus automates the busy work that bogs you down, so you can spend less time on paperwork and more time creating unforgettable programs for your residents. Civic Plus is the trusted partner for thousands of high-performing civic leaders, helping them balance better services with limited resources. With over 25 years of experience and a team of 900 experts, Civic Plus powers over 10,000 organizations and touches 350 million lives every day. So if you're ready to train that bird out for impact, visit civicplus.com. The best run local governments run on Civic Plus technology.
Welcome to Season 5 of RecLess, the podcast making you smarter and more knowledgeable about the field of parks and recreation. Your hosts are Shane Mize, Jay Tryon, and Tom Venniro, three career-long friends from across the country bringing you a surprise guest each episode. Listen in on a great conversation, maybe take some notes, and definitely enjoy a couple of laughs. This is RecLess.
Hey guys,
There he is. What's going on?
just playing Mr. Dad this week. Melissa's got some morning obligations, so I'm trying to work at home and entertain kids at the same time. It's not for the weak at heart. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the latest episode of RecLess, the podcast focusing on the industry of park and recreation through three close friends in different parts of the country. My name is Jay Tryon.
Welcome to RecLess.
And as always, Shane likes to interrupt because he wants to be the lead of attention, Miss Beyonce. Shane, Tom, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey guys,
How we doing?
I think we're doing all right. I think Shane might have just been doing that. I think he was trying to bring the energy up.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Energy.
Yeah.
Kids got juice packs already from Tom. I got my monster. We're ready to go.
There we go. Well, it's an exciting time, you know. It's July. It's Park and Rec Month, which actually is part of my opening question today. So we're midway through July, which is National Park and Rec Month. Thank you, NRPA, for everything you've been doing to advertise Park and Rec Month. And, I think it's one of my favorite times of the year and probably my favorite month because I love seeing what all the other departments around the country do, and they see it on social media platforms, just different videos that are being posted or different ways that people are engaging with their communities throughout this month. And in addition to Park and Rec Month, today is Park and Recreation Professionals Day. So my question to you guys is, what is something special that you are doing either for Park and Rec Professionals Day or Park and Rec Month?
Shane, you want me to give it a crack?
Yeah, go first.
All right, sounds good. We've not been, it's always felt like we've been at a point at this time of year where it's really hard to get some momentum going for some kind of a Parks and Rec Month campaign. And so sometimes we're really good at it, sometimes we're not as great, right? And this year we've put a little more effort into it. I would like to say it's inspired a little bit by our YPN fam. I think there was a conversation maybe 2 weeks out of July of maybe Jay, it might have been you who posed the question, what are you all doing for Parks and Rec Month? And so I think, Kevin Whitty and maybe a couple other individuals shared a calendar.
Yeah.
And I think I shared this on the recap episode for season 4 that one of the questions was what motivates you? And part of my answer was you all motivate me. And so when I hear these conversations going on in our YPN fam, I said, well, we gotta step it up. So made the time, and this year we did basically kind of a couple different things. One of them being a weekly spotlight of what it is that Parks and Rec does and trying to engage the community. So I believe week 1 was exploring parks. Week 2 was connection through inclusion. Week 3 was connection through programs. Today we did a spotlight for Parks and Rec professionals. We're going to do a photo contest to kind of end it, to ask people to share any and all that they've been doing at our programs or at our facilities, either during the month of July and then even into August. We're going to extend that throughout the summer because we still have a lot going on for the rest of the summer. So we're going to kind of culminate it all with that photo contest. But it's been nice to see some engagement on individuals who get to see the posts and share their stories. And yeah, I'd like to see more, but it has been fun to see and hear and read about. The last piece that we were doing for Parks and Rec Professional Day today is I asked our summer camp coordinator to get the individuals who do a little bit better of a job with social media and video and content creation. So again, maybe that's an assumption, but our summer camp staff, they have probably a little more of a tech savvy wit to them. So they're going to be doing some kind of video contest with all of our summer camp sites. So all of the site directors were given a prompt or a directive, hey, make a video. You have full creative control to do what you want to do with it. You know, you're part of our team, you're Parks and Rec professionals, and we want you to be a part of it. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Hashtag nothing. Is that an appropriate answer? In the past, we've done some, I wouldn't say they were super creative, but we've done our part in trying to either do a program a day or there were opportunities for free access to different things, new ideas to try. We did do a calendar, but we just highlighted the stuff we were already doing. We're not putting together anything just for the month itself, other than the presentation I did to council a couple weeks back, the declaration, and I guess we're just trying to lean into what we're doing. I think we're also still trying to recover a little bit. We've had a lot of flooding, although it seems like that's gone all over the country now. I think New York and North Carolina both have had some of that weather as well. But I wouldn't say we pulled anything off because of that. I would just say any mental capacity, we probably would have had to do something. We haven't been focused on it. We've done some cool art stuff in the parks that we released recently, and we'll do a music in the park or music rock the block event tonight. But I wouldn't say we're doing anything specifically for the month or even for the day. So you can write me up, demerits, put me in timeout, whatever is required of a punishment.
Well, I did see your declaration, Shane, and I was intrigued with that, right? And I don't know if that's something that a lot of communities do. Obviously, from a national perspective, it's considered Parks and Rec Month, but to have your city recognize it, and it was a whole ceremony, right? It was done at an actual council meeting.
Yeah, it's at a council meeting, and we do a declaration that the month is Parks and Rec Month, and I think some cities do that. And then I make a presentation to council about the importance of Parks and Rec, and it's a great opportunity to get in front of them and kind of brag on my staff. And I try my best to re-center the conversation about what Parks and Rec does for a community. Sometimes, like I said in this presentation, the old adage is what gets measured gets managed. And we're a tough thing to put into an Excel document. We're a tough thing to have a formula kick out. We talk about data, and I'm as heavy into data, I think, as a lot of people are. I do a lot of placer data, and I have that data when we need to argue for things. But this is just it's a bunch of photos of kids smiling and parents having fun and people enjoying parks events. And it's just me kind of narrating a reminder to them of what Parks and Rec actually does for a community, and that the investment, the ROI of that isn't something you can see a lot in an Excel document. And but if you just continue to invest, it's like self-defense classes, right? Like, it's tough if you took self-defense classes for years to know if it's working, but every Friday night you walk around a dark parking lot and you feel safer, you feel confident in your ability to defend yourself. That pays off. And if, God forbid, anything ever happened and someone did try to attack you, your ability to protect yourself is great. Parks and Rec is a lot like that, right? Like, it's tough in some ways when you have to pay the utility bills, or you got to pay another bill, you got to pay for public safety's pay raises to also invest in parks. But I have tried over my 6 years here to remind them that if you just trust that the ROI is there, you'll see it. And you'll see it in ways other than an Excel document. You'll see it ways other than just a revenue in, revenue out. And my city leadership has, and they were great. They said some really nice things after the presentation. But it's just a reminder that Parks and Rec is more than what they saw on that TV show. It's more than what they see sometimes in a weekly update or whatever. And it really, truly has an impact on a lot of people in our community.
I didn't realize you've been there 6 years already.
Yeah, they did for sure. They definitely
Is
know.
that good or bad?
The axe worn thin. That's what I'm saying.
I'll just add one thing that we're doing here that's been really fun is every Wednesday we're doing a social media post, and we call it Where Are We Wednesday, and showing a different picture of a facility or an amenity
That's
or
cool.
a park or something. The first two were really fairly easy. One was a picture of a pool feature and one was a playground, but it was a new playground, so not everyone knew about it. But the one we posted this Wednesday, it was cool. It was more of a just a smaller amenity.
That button.
It was the button in the back of your office.
Yeah, that would be good. But I think only like 3 or 4 out of like the 15 comments that we got were correct. Whereas like in the past, like everyone got it right. So it was kind of neat because then to me, it's bringing more awareness to a facility that they didn't know about, because if they knew about it, they would have got it right.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
cool.
Great.
So, okay, well, moving on. We're going to give you some hints here about today's guest. And
Terry Blackburn.
Terry Blackburn is the pseudo name for...
Might just be their name.
The individual today.
Good.
Once I get into some of these hints, you'll learn it may not be. But today's guest and I share some history. We both served as a recreation specialist together in Mecklenburg County in 2006. Okay, so there's some history they know. We both worked together. And you know a lot of folks that have come through Mecklenburg, but don't know if you know this individual. They have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from Winthrop University. And I know we talk a lot about colleges, so I want to know if Shane knows where Winthrop University is.
The esteemed Winthrop. And it's obvious. It's in Winthrop, North Carolina, right?
Nope.
Damn. Winthrop, South Carolina?
It is in South Carolina.
Oh!
But it's not, the town is not Winthrop. This guest has worked
What's
for
the
two
town?
large agencies. Hey, can you let me do this?
Well, maybe you don't know it.
It's actually not that far from Charlotte, so trust me, I do know where it is. I've been on campus before. It's in Rock Hill.
Okay.
No, that sounds like a made-up name.
About 30 minutes from Charlotte. Okay, so they've actually worked for 2 large county agencies, not just Mecklenburg, but another one. And this guest has actually worked for an agency.
Used to be better at this.
That we highlighted recently from another guest that was on the East Coast. Okay, our guest is a graduate of NRPA Supervisors Management School, and these next 2 are solely for Shane. So our guest is a director of an agency in Texas.
Okay, let's go.
So I think it's actually my first Texas guest. I think Shane only has Texas people. This is my first one. And to take it a step further, this person's department is about an hour from Shane.
Everything's an hour from Shane. Okay.
But what makes it fun to me is I don't know if you even know this person, but they're only an hour from you.
Possible.
Today's guest is the executive director.
You didn't even let us guess.
Go ahead. You want to take a guess?
Yeah, I think they're an executive director
for
a city about an hour outside of Pflugerville. I'll let you go from there. I'll let you give the rest away.
They are the executive director for the city of Killeen, Texas Park and Recreation. Please welcome Antonio Murphy.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Antonio, how's it going?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good, thanks. Thanks for being with us.
So were you at the Walk the Halls, the Texas Day?
I did come to the Walk the Hall Texas Day.
Where we gave out those yellow shirts?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they announced you because you were new at that time. That was
very new. I had been in Texas all of 2 weeks.
Okay. So that was, what was that, November? So that was, I guess you're here a little less than a year still, huh?
Yeah. September 23rd makes my year.
Nice. Welcome to Texas.
Thank you.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Antonio, I appreciate you being here. And like I said in the intro, we have a little bit of history together. I saw your name last year at the NRPA conference. You did a session with other Mecklenburg County alum and also a current staff member that returned to Mecklenburg County with Alima Edwards. And the title of that session was The Other Side of the Mountain, a Candid Conversation on Career Advancement. And we've talked a lot about career advancement throughout different episodes. And I just wanted to kind of see if you could talk a little bit about that session and what your path was to get where you are today.
That session was a combination of my many travels. Any young professional who gets into recreation has a desire to not just be stagnant. Everybody wants to climb the ladder, so to speak, and try their hand at different levels of management, ultimately to get to possibly at a director level. Having the pleasure of encountering my distinguished panelists that I worked with in Mecklenburg County, as well as yourself, Jay. As I started to advance my career and move different places, I started to encounter a lot of young professionals or professionals that had been in the industry for 5, 10 years, and they felt like they had hit some type of glass ceiling. Didn't know really how to move, get opportunities to interview and maybe not be necessarily considered as a top candidate and not chosen for the next opportunity. So started to witness a lot of frustration and a lot of good people leaving the industry. Candid conversation started off informally with different people that I would encounter as I traveled around the country and I moved. And in thinking about it, I looked at how Mecklenburg County played an instrumental part in developing not only myself, but the panelists that I was able to share the panel with, namely Alima Everts, who is now back with Mecklenburg County as a recreation superintendent, Mr. Travis Landrum, the director of Powder Springs, Georgia, and Tamika Pallard, who is a community services and facilities operations manager with the city of Greenville, South Carolina. My path in recreation was not a traditional path. I didn't come straight out of college and get a job, entry-level job, and work my way up. I came straight out of college, and my first experience was becoming the park and recreation director in my hometown of Chester, South Carolina. Straight out of college, not a clue as to what it should have been, but they took a risk and entrusted me to craft the idea and create what recreation will look like and stand, thankfully and by God's grace, to this point today. Very big undertaking when a town's relaunching their recreation department. After a few years of being in that role and realizing that, okay, I needed to further my skill set, I decided to return to school, and I needed a position that would still allow me to work in the passion that I love, but also was not so much a central focal point or a key cog of driving an agency. And I ended up applying to Mecklenburg County, got hired. Uniquely, when I started, I was a Hispanic Latino programmer for that demographic in the therapeutic recreation division. Shortly after I got there, they decided to reclassify it, and I was assigned to be a rec specialist at Methodist Home Recreation Center. Jay, I know you're real familiar with Methodist Homes because me and you had the beauty of having the 2 skate parks that Mecklenburg County had in our inventory. Which offered its own unique set of challenges. So learned a lot there, but like I said, felt myself that I had a calling that was greater and was always looking for the next opportunity. Had some opportunities to interview, didn't get chose. So, self-doubt would creep in, starts to question your abilities, watched other people who, very capable, very competent, but couldn't understand. And when you asked for feedback, it was, you're just not ready yet. No concrete feedback. Stayed with Mecklenburg County for 11 years. Like a lot of professionals that I've encountered, got frustrated, walked away from the industry, went and did something else after a year, felt something was missing in life, and ended up being an assistant center manager for the city of Gastonia, North Carolina. Once again, very people focused, interacting with the citizens, loved it, but felt I could contribute more. It was a perfect time in my life to really throw myself into pursuing my career efforts. So I applied for a job and ended up as a regional manager in Baltimore, in the city of Baltimore, Maryland, for the city of Baltimore Parks and Rec Department. We all know the story. COVID hit. I needed to come closer to home. Through the blessings of God's grace and opportunity, had a chance to become the deputy director for Chatham County, Georgia, which is Savannah, Georgia. Great experience. Spent a couple years there. I guess I stumbled into doing a few things right. Opportunities came open. I had a few people reach out based on my LinkedIn profile, express opportunities that they had in their different municipalities. And I ended up interviewing for a few, selected Texas, and Texas selected me. So here I am in the beautiful city of Killeen, Texas, where it has been a great experience, a whirlwind. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of cultural diversity. I'm loving the challenge. I got a great young team that's energized. So it's been a very pleasant, fun, enjoyable roller coaster ride.
Antonio, kudos to you for having an alumni group and not including Jay. I think we would have all done the same on any presentation. In fact, if we could get rid of him for our presentations now, we probably would. So kudos to have the foresight. We've actually dragged him around and have had to carry him just dead weight, to be honest, in a lot of ways. And so, but I wanted to talk to you. I think it's interesting. Your career path is like a lot of other people's, except the start, right? Like I was in coaching before I was in Parks and Rec, and I always talk about, there's a lot of position coaches, right? There's an offensive line, a defensive line, and a defensive back, and a wide receiver, and a tight end coach, and a running back coach. There's only 2 coordinators, maybe 3, if you want to call a special teams a coordinator, and then you've got maybe an assistant head coach and a head coach, and so that pyramid is really tough for people. I have always believed that you see what resistance does to people. Some people get a jar given to them, and they try to open it, and they don't think they can open it, and they try to open it, and they can't on initial, and they just give up, right? I can't open that jar. The jar's too tight. And someone else tries it, and with a little bit more gumption, pop, the jar opens. There's a C.S. Lewis quote that talks about you don't know how tough the German army is until you actually turn around and face them, stop running from them and face them, right? And so I think there are times in our life where we go up for jobs, we go up against resistance. It sounded like you did too. After you got that director title that everyone says you got to go get your director title, you got it day one, and everyone else has chased it for 15 or 20 years. And then you had to chase it back, it felt like, in a lot of ways, to get that title again and feel like you'd earned it and you had it and you were wanted and you wanted to be there. But what's it like when you're talking to young professionals or professionals in general? Because we talk a lot about imposter syndrome, but we don't talk a lot about the friction and the beauty at times of resistance and friction. And that, if you continue to push through when others give up, that space above that starts to even things out. You start to really sit into a spot where other people try to be a director a couple times. They just give up. I'll never be a director. And I think all of us have had examples where we've interviewed for jobs and been like, oh, I didn't get it. I'll just never be one of those. No, if you push on when others quit, you get to a space that the competition actually thins out a little bit. What's that like? How do you lead people through that?
You're in a race with yourself. And if you're willing to sell yourself short, then, that's on you. You have to have the intestinal fortitude to believe that you can contribute first and foremost. My journey was just that. I did start as a director, but it was my hometown. I was the homer. I knew everybody. I don't want to say it was easy because I don't want to diminish the role and responsibilities that directors encompass. But when you got kind of a foundation and you got kind of a cheering squad and a Wall-Rock squad, it is kind of seamless to be able to get in and navigate, especially in a hometown. I'm a park and rec director at that point of a town of 3,500 people. I almost knew everybody by name. And I was 6 degrees of separation from everybody. So, It was easy to kind of grease the wheels. It was easy to kind of talk to people. I got the grassroots of being able to dabble in every aspect, whether it's park maintenance, whether it was capital improvement, growing up that way. I was also able and, humble enough to reach out to other professionals who had a wealth of experience and saying, hey, tell me what I got into. How did I go about doing this? Help me learn. So I started to build a network that was really supported and was sharing information. But again, for me, I was the big fish in a small pond because I was Homer, and I wanted to really test myself on a market that says, hey, you need to learn more, and can you take and do what you did in this small town and duplicate and have successes at other levels in other places? Now, with that being said, I didn't realize it was going to take me to as many stops as it did, but those stops each along the way helped craft me and make me and grow me into director I've become, tested my resolve in myself to have confidence that, I can contribute at multiple levels, and given the right opportunity, evaluating the right opportunity to make sure it fits me instead of me trying to fit it, plays a key cog in it. So I would always, and the young people that I've come to and the professionals who hit that mark, tell them, stop comparing yourself to the next person. I'll share a tidbit. Me and Jay being in Mecklenburg County at the same time and him having a desire to advance, and I'm an observer, so I'm kind of watching to see as his career takes off and I'm still feeling stagnant. It wasn't that he was chosen or he was in a clique or any of the reasons that we give for when someone else gets that opportunity that you are searching for and you don't get. It was, okay, he accomplished it. What do I need to work on? Where do I need to go back to the lab and tinker? What do I need to get better on? And part of it is being humble enough to ask that person, hey, what did you do? And the path for everybody is different. Some people take it along, volunteering, getting involved, NRPA, all wonderful. Your state association is great, building that network. Some people going to have to grind it out. So, you can't compare your journey to the next person. And if anything, my career shows that was first and foremost. I was in a race against myself, and every stop along the way was polishing me and preparing me for the moment that I have right now.
Yeah, I really respect that, Antonio, and that, especially a couple things you said there that I want to segue into another question. But comparison, right? Comparison, we hear it all the time. It happens not just within ourselves, it happens with our teams. You get people that come into your office and they say, "Well, how come so and so got this and I didn't get that?" I think it was Theodore Roosevelt said comparison is the thief of joy. And I try to tell people when they come in the office, it's gonna burn you out. That will burn you out faster than anything else is if you keep comparing yourself. So I really, really can relate to that. And you also talked about the networking piece and how you used that, which we talk about networking a lot on this for sure. And I think all of us here understand the value. That said, you mentioned a way of networking earlier that I don't know that we talk about a lot. I don't know that everybody talks about that often with each other. You mentioned LinkedIn being a tool and a resource that you use to potentially showcase yourself, connect with individuals. And I was hoping maybe for the individuals out there who use LinkedIn, who are struggling to find a way to use it successfully. There's a lot of people out there who you might go into their LinkedIn profile and you see the little circle and it says #open to work. That generally might imply that they're in the middle of jobs, but there's also individuals out there who are doing exactly what you discussed. They're just trying to move through the ladder. They want to move around. They're not maybe satisfied where they are, so they're looking for the next opportunity. Can you maybe just share a little bit of some insight of how you utilize LinkedIn and that social media presence to enhance the networking opportunity, and what are some ways that someone can go out there and showcase themselves?
Well, Tom, to be honest, LinkedIn for me was a sounding board. I felt like I had some contributions that, for whatever reason, weren't being readily receptive in the agencies I was working with. And I'd been that frustrated person. I had been that person that sat in the corner. Oh, they don't want to hear from me. They don't want to accept my ideas. So I've just crafted a new persona that is called the thoughtful leader. And as I had thoughts about leadership, I would go to LinkedIn and post them. Lo and behold, people would read them, reply back to them, and I started growing a following. Then I got really strategic in it, and I was like, okay, there's a big recreation component on this, professionals at various levels. I could not get access to my director or whatever agency I was working for at the time to be able to ask certain questions. But here, I got an indirect link that all I got to do is, hey, I want to follow you. Hey, can I friend you? Can I ask you a couple of questions? Can you tell me more about the budget process? Whatever I wanted to learn, as these people would read my rants at the moment, for lack of better terminology, and they were responding with me. Okay, you open the door to give me an opportunity to ask you a question, pick your brain, have that dialogue. A lot of times I don't even think they know that they were helping polishing me by allowing me to vent my frustrations, but also helping groom me to prepare me for when I did eventually get back to a director level and to be the director that I hope to envision to be.
Well, and Tom, I'm actually really glad you brought up LinkedIn because, Antonio and I, even though we've known each other, I don't see him often because obviously we've worked in different states, but partly why I wanted him to join us today is because I see stuff on LinkedIn that he shares, and I see different leadership perspectives and quotes and different ways of approaching, the industry and also just leadership in general. And I've admired that. And I think that's really unique because a lot of us have LinkedIn and you can use it for different ways, and different platforms are always, different ways to share your beliefs on things. But I look forward to when I see something that Antonio posts because I've enjoyed it and it made me think differently about some things. And then it leads to, an engaging conversation like this.
I really appreciate that perspective. And it's a unique approach to working through LinkedIn too. And Antonio, I just want to show you some proof here. I just requested to connect with you. So
don't feel obligated. Don't feel obligated, Antonio. So I find this part of this fascinating because I don't do any social media well, and LinkedIn is as bad of it as any of it that I do. And so hearing how you said you were recruited through LinkedIn, without getting too much into the politics of Killeen, and another note, which is pretty unique, I've shared before that I was the second candidate in Pflugerville. I shared on this podcast I was the second candidate. They offered it to another gentleman. He took a job elsewhere. I was the second candidate. And luckily, I think it's worked out for me and Pflugerville. The other candidate went to Killeen. It was Joe Brown. Joe Brown was the director in Killeen for a couple years. And I always say in our interviews, Joe Brown played in the NFL. He was an All-American at Ohio State and then left the NFL to go serve in the military and run special forces. Me and him look like the movie catalog twins, Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in our interview process. Like Joe Brown to this day looks like he could strap up and play. He's like 6'4", not an ounce of fat on him. And then there's just me walking around and we're just interviewing in these rooms. And I hate that car wash interview process because you're compared right next to this dude the whole day. I call him G.I. Joe. But I know Joe was there for a while and then Joe left and another person was there. And then I don't think she lasted that long. And I don't want to get into that necessarily, but there's an origin story here in some ways that there was some turmoil in Killeen, obviously a little bit, right? There was, let's not say turmoil. Let's say there was some unsteadiness. There was a little bit of, they were trying to figure out who they were looking for, and they were looking for a thoughtful leader. If they recruited you off of LinkedIn, they saw your thoughtful leadership personality and reached out to you, and they literally found what they're looking for. You rarely see that type of process through LinkedIn. But once you get selected, and all that's roses, right? Once you get selected, you come to an agency where there's been some leadership voids. There's been some leadership wanting to do it one way, and then probably leadership wants to do it another way, and then the leadership wants to do it third way. And so there's this leadership whiplash that your employees have probably experienced, and they're probably a little guarded when you first got there. What's that been like, stepping into that spot and probably having to win counsel over, and then lead the way you want to lead? Because there's probably a couple more steps you had to do before you got to be you, because you might have had to soothe some people or ease some people into believing that you were going to be here for a while and it was all going to work out.
Very true, Shane. The biggest thing is it wasn't about how we approach. I came in with the ability, I'm new to the system, irregardless of what my title says. While I may have historical knowledge and perspective from many different municipalities and a way of doing things, before anything changes, I need to learn the way that things are being done here, the things that you do well, the things that have been done not so well, areas that we can improve. And it's not a dictatorship, for lack of better terminology. It is, we're going to sit down and have collectives and set my title aside. I need idea leaders. I need generators. We're going to lead systematically together. We're going to try some things. If it fails, it's on me, because I want to encourage you to find your voice and become the leader that you want to be. If it works, I'm the first to step out of the way and give credit where credit is due for others in my organization who have a better insight or a better point to produce results. That process of winning over, it never stops. I had an open door policy. Come in, let's talk about anything. And we've been sharing. Now, it's a slow process because you're right. There was a lot of concern about what's this new leader going to be like? Is he going to be a micromanager? Is he going to be a dictator? Naturally, I'm introverted. And like I told him, if things are working well, you probably won't hear 2-3 words out of me. I never come to a point where it's accusatory. I'm always asking, explain it from your perspective and understand that there are different perspectives at different levels. You'll give me your view. Sometimes I'm going to take you up and give you an aerial view. Sometimes I'm going to take you higher and let my supervisor in my directions give you an even higher aerial view so you can start to put together the whole process. And then we can discuss how we're going to navigate the process, where we're going to tweak the process, because it's not personal. It is not, I'm coming in here and you all got to go so I can bring in my people so I can feel confident. No, we're going to build this thing together, because this is not a me entity. It's not a you entity. It is a us collective. And my whole tenement for being in recreation, what I believe centrally is recreation is the keeper of community. We are going to build community. We're going to foster community in every activity, event in our parks. It's going to be community inclusive. This society we live in now likes to focus on how we're different, where we fall different at. And the fact of the matter is, while we do have some differences, we have more similarities. And if we focus on the similarities, we have a community that's engaged, where we're caring about each other, where we're looking out for each other. And that's where my passion lies. That's why I'm in this profession. That's why I have persevered, stuck out, been frustrated, shed my tears, licked my wounds, and keep coming back every day. And I want to hopefully impart that to those that I'm charged to work with, lead, serve in that way.
Hey, we'll be right back.
Hey, RecLess fans, this is Tom here with a word from our 2025 NRPA gathering sponsor, Rec Technologies. Rec Technologies knows what it's like. The long days, the back-to-back programs, the just one quick question emails that never seem to stop. Parks and Rec is about serving the community, but somehow the tech you've been given makes it all harder. At Rec Technologies, they believe your software shouldn't require workarounds and a PhD in rocket science to use. The team from Uber and Google has built Rec software so intuitive that your front desk might even get bored, with digital tools for programming, facility, and membership management that meet the actual needs of modern park and recreation leaders. This September at NRPA in Orlando, go stop by booth number 426 and the RecLess YPN Top Golf Social on Tuesday evening. They'll have stickers and mugs because they know you deserve to have something fun too. They'll also be speaking with OpenAI on Tuesday about actually using AI in your department. You don't want to miss it. Learn more at rec.us/partner. And now, on to the show.
Jason Mangum is a former guest of ours, now an assistant city manager in Missouri City, one of my former bosses. And he talked about, he's been in, 6 or 7 different agencies over his career. And he talks about, he uses the storming, norming, conforming, performing 4 stages of winning a team over. And he uses the Remember the Titans movie and really crystallizes it when you watch him talk about it. And then he shows the movie clips or whatever. Where do you think you are in that process? Because it takes a while to turn the ship around and get everyone rowing in the same page. You're probably not 100% there yet. How do you feel like it's going?
We're not. It's going great. I am blessed with a passionate team. The historical perspective and the knowledge that they bring to the table has been instrumental, because Killeen is a unique municipality in and of itself. It is what used to be a transient community, because we are right outside of Fort Hood, which is the 3rd largest Army base in the world. So we had that in and out flux of military personnel, but it's also transitioning into its own urban metropolitan area. It used to be once rural. So you're getting those dynamics and those shifts. And I have the perfect symbiotes of some ex-military who are very systematic. I have some young youth, dynamic, want to change the world, want to conquer the world, that new millennium generation. And I have some old stalwarts that brings to me and say, hey, let's have this conversation. There's no right or wrong. There's no judgment. Let's put it all out on the table and let's come up with a compromise that works best for our citizens. So we're getting to that. We're in that normalizing stage. This is becoming the routine. And the trust factor is going that, okay, I can speak up. If I say something, it's not going to be held against me later, or I got a fear of retaliation. Walked in day one. I said, the one thing that I will require of you and I require myself, and I want you to hold me to it, excellence. I am a perfectionist that will never reach perfection, but we can reach excellence. And that's what I get out of it. They give me 100% excellent effort every day.
I like that. That's a great approach. Well, and speaking of your city, I was doing some homework on your agency. I came across the Family Aquatic Center, which obviously most departments have some sort of aquatic component, whether it's a pool or a splash pad. But this is much bigger than that, with a number of water slides. I'm sure this is probably a huge attraction for your residents and the surrounding residents. What is it like running that facility this time of year when I'm sure everyone's trying to cool off?
It is the utmost fun and the utmost chaos you could have all in the same breath. We all being recreation professionals, no 2 days are the same, but it's refreshing to go out and see generations upon generations of enjoying what the aquatics facility offers in the way of slides, water features from toddlers. We have a competitive lap pool. So, having those people who want to swim and being able to offer many varied program opportunities just in the general recreation and fun makes it great. Always full. We operate a 6-day-a-week schedule. I have 56 lifeguards, 7 WSI instructors, 5 managers, an aquatic supervisor, and a vacant assistant aquatic supervisor for anybody who's looking to maybe come clean. But yeah, it is a great experience. I love coming out, especially on the weekends, on a Saturday and Sunday, and just being able to interact with our citizenry and get their comments. And hopefully in the next few years, fiscally, we'll be able to do some more improvements and add some more features to it to continue to have, it's not only a draw for our city, It's a draw for our immediate region as we have people from neighboring municipalities. We're in a unique situation. We're an hour away from Austin and Pflugerville, which has the big amenities and the attractions. We're 2 hours away from Dallas, 3 hours away from Houston, 2 hours away from San Antonio. So we kind of sit smack dab in the middle. And it's nice that as people are passing through, they have an opportunity to come out and enjoy what Killeen has to offer.
I wanted to ask a little bit about that. I'm glad you touched on that. And I think the only organization that I've visited, and I believe I visited with you, Jay, and Shane, you might have been there, but it was forgettable if you were. So at the very least, Jay, you were there.
You see how they do me?
Well, you took some shots at Jay. I think we got to take some shots at you every once in a while, right? That's it. So we went to Carmel Clay and did a little. I think you were there. Now that I'm.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You might have.
We held hands. We hugged. Yeah,
you might have driven the car. Anyhow, they have that water park, right? And that was a big. That was amazing for me to see. Very unique, and to the point of what you had mentioned, Antonio, is that it's not just your city, right? It's almost this tourist. It's a tourist attraction, right? Individuals, whatever you want to call it, even if they're only coming from an hour away, they're technically coming to your community, spending their dollars, all the ramifications that come along with that, right? So there's a huge benefit to them coming into your community. Now, you said you also have some experience with Savannah, though. Yes. And I visited Savannah only once, only for a week. It was beautiful. It is a beautiful place. It's a huge tourist spot. And so I just wanted to ask a little bit about that mindset of working for an organization that has the open mind to say, we're not just serving our residents. We want everybody. We want everybody from Pflugerville. We want the people. How do you get people on board to understand that? Do the community members, did they have issue with that, with people coming in from all over the place, whether it was Savannah or where you are now?
No, not really. I mean, it's a unique credit to our elected officials and politicians that have that foresight, but it's also a statement of our community. Savannah, as well as now Killeen, are very culturally diverse. So when you take in a rich cultural history, Killeen being with this military foundation, bringing people from all over the world here with some ties to the military, and now it's growing industry, they're looking for certain resources. And when they come and they establish roots here, of course, they're going to bring extended family members here. So it's nice to have an attraction that draws them in. Again, being centrally located as people traverse between Austin and San Antonio or Waco and Dallas, we're midway. So it's a stopping point. It's a good resting point to be able to have it. So it's like that hidden gem that you find. Savannah in and of itself. Savannah is beautiful. I have nothing bad. I loved my time there, but the nuance of being able to be an attraction within an attraction makes Savannah uniquely special. Whether you want to go down to Tybee Beach, which is about 20 minutes outside of Savannah, or you want to go in the historical perspective around Savannah and look at the architecture, the art scene, it's all there. And then when you add that there is a recreational component that's drawing and growing people in to participate in activities, it makes it very special.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane's ever been to Savannah. I've been twice, and it is a great destination. And there's something for everybody, because you mentioned Tybee, you mentioned downtown. I mean, if you want to look at history, there's food.
Tons.
Food scene's phenomenal. So it definitely is a unique spot for someone to go check out, regardless of what you're looking for, because there's something for everyone.
Let me just add a secondary question, and I don't mean to talk too much about the past, but Savannah is intriguing to me, and I'm sure it's intriguing to a lot of individuals to want to potentially find roots or work in an area that's so vibrant. Jay, we talk about that with Charleston all the time, and obviously Tom O'Rourke has that experience. Antonio, what is that like? Is it a challenge to compete with everything else that's going on in Savannah to be recreation and park service? Because you've got so much outside privatized, whether it's an old facility or historical tour that people are looking to go on. Again, the beach. How do you compete with that? Where's your place when you were there?
Wasn't necessarily competition. It was more of complementary. When you come to Savannah, you have, if you're downtown and you're doing the historical perspective, of course, you got the squares. If you're an architect, the history of how those squares were created and how Savannah was designed. But we offer amenities to get away. regional parks where you can go and have a nice picnic with family that is not so overrun with, dare I say, a lot of tourism, a lot of foot traffic, but a place that you could rest. Being complimentary, growing the area. Savannah is unique in that I work for Chatham County, which was the inclusive county, but you had the city of Savannah, which had its own parks and recreation entity. You had Pooler, which was another small municipality. Everything's like almost 8 miles apart. You're in a whole new jurisdiction municipality. So we kind of played off each other to be able to offer those supports. Yes, you come there. When you eat too much, you can walk the strip. But if you want to get a little way and see some more Savannah, more what the everyday lifestyle looks like, there are many amenity parks that you can go to. There are activities. Our youth athletics was growing, and we were getting into the realm of some of the amateur tourism opportunities. So that even brought in more people. So again, the biggest thing is being complimentary instead of having that competition.
Enough about Savannah. We should probably be talking about Texas, right? Being so close to, you're right in the middle of what they call the Texas Triangle, which is DFW, the Hill Country, so Austin, San Antonio, and then Houston. And you're not from here, so you're getting some opportunities, I guess, to do a bit of a tourism type thing, right? What have you gone and visited and been impressed with? And when you go to these places, are you ever checking out parks facilities?
Always checking out parks facilities. I spend a lot of time between Austin and Waco because they're really close, and I'm checking out everything in between. I'm impressed with the level of commitment to the development and upkeep of park and green space. Texas is a huge state, and the commitment to increasing connectivity, walkability has always been a fascination of mine. So to see how the different municipalities are building more trail systems, are designing nicer parks, including arts and culture in their park designs, all the way from, like I said, Austin to San Antonio and in between. That is what I've discovered so far. In Austin, I've found Barton Springs, which is a nice natural swim spot.
Great. Isn't it great?
I'm loving it. Everywhere I've been, I mean, the food, the culture, the people, the warmth that you get. They always say that they do it big in Texas, and I've found that to be true. So I'm here. I'm sitting down roots here, and I think my journeys and adventures are over.
Love that. Love to hear it. So someone that's an introvert and a thoughtful person, I love that. I love the opportunity to talk deeply with people. I would imagine you would be someone that have an opinion on this. So I'd love to hear it. What is our industry doing that they need to either do differently or abandon? And what is something we're not doing well that we need to start focusing on more?
I don't think it's any one particular thing. I think we need to be, as an industry, we need to be true to what our foundations are: conservation and building community. There are a lot of new opportunities, getting youth back out and engaged instead of being behind a monitor. But we've got to do it in a way that encompasses some of the creature comforts that come with modern technology. Our parks have got to move towards the next millennium and being Wi-Fi enabled and interactive and things of that nature. We've got to make a better use in our advertising and marketing. If your municipality is like mine, we're still to a degree where we're marketing like it's 1947. A lot of flyers, word of mouth. We hadn't maximized the social media component or the technology component to be able to increase it. So staying true to our core value of engaging everyone. Unfortunately, the things that are going on now in the political realm are impeding that. And there's a lot of discussion about DEI versus what's acceptable. We stay neutral. We meet everybody on an individual, and we take that individual for what they are or what they aren't based on the individual instead of making a judgment about any particular group, class, or culture.
Love that.
I love that too.
Well, Antonio, we're going to switch gears a little bit and do some rapid fire. So we're just going to ask you some quick questions. First thing that come to mind, I know we've talked a lot on other episodes about sports, and I'm just curious, have you adopted Texas sports teams? Do you have North Carolina teams you still follow? Is it teams in other states that you've lived, or what are your go-tos for your favorite college and pro teams?
One, I'm a sports fanatic, so while I hadn't officially adopted any Texas teams, I have identified some opportunities to go and enjoy some great Texas sports. Of course, I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel fan by nature. I'm going to always give love to my beloved Winthrop Eagles, the best mid-major in the country. When it comes to football, I'm kind of out there. I'm a San Francisco 49er fan, so my team's indicative of just my gypsy lifestyle. I've moved around, so my teams are spread all out.
I wouldn't have guessed that because I was like thinking it could be Baltimore, it could be Atlanta, it could be Carolina, it could be Texas, it could be, there's multiple teams in Texas. But San Francisco, okay, I like it.
That's a good way to make sure everyone hates you no matter where you live.
Yeah.
Pick the 49ers.
Well, and I can relate to that. I'm a Patriots fan. Doesn't
That's
matter
right.
where you are unless you're in Boston. They all hate you. And yeah, speaking of that, Boston Patriots to North Carolina, Drake May.
Yes.
Big Drake May fan right now. He's our next hope. I don't know if it's going to happen, but Bill Belichick though. So a lot of Patriots ties to North Carolina. How do you feel about Bill Belichick joining? And maybe you're not a big Tar Heels football guy. Maybe it's more basketball, but
I am a Tar Heel football guy. I think given his steadying influence and his NFL pedigree, he's going to be a really stable force for North Carolina football. With this new age of the transfer portal and NIL deals, you need a big name to kind of hold the interest of today's young athlete, and you can't question his pedigree. Championships wise, he's going to bring that DNA, that effort. So it's going to be a humbling for a young athlete who has always been not challenged. How they respond in that North Carolina culture, I think they're going to blossom and do well.
So you came to Texas in the fall. Mm-hmm. What's your experience been with Friday Night Lights, high school football? Have you got to enjoy any of it?
I've got to get a little peeks here and there. I'm still looking for that true Friday Night Lights experience. What I will give you all in Texas, these stadiums are immaculate for high school football. I'm like, wow, I know certain colleges that don't have facilities that are this nice, but I'm still looking for that opportunity to get the whole Friday Night Lights effect, partially because I'm a workaholic and I spend so much time doing what I really love doing that I'm coming in halftime of a game. So I want to be there from start to finish and take it in.
You got to do it. You got to find a little town and go there. Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those, when you talked about that town of 3,500, a lot of towns in Texas, across the country, identify that in some ways. It's funny because, in a town of 3,500, half the town is in the parade and the other half town is at the parade, right? That's how a parade works in a small town. Yes. You're either in it or you have to attend, and Friday Night Lights in some ways is the same way. Like you go to one of those small towns, they shut things down. The population swells, everyone's at the game, and it's one of those, it's a magic experience when you find the right community to go support.
I can't wait. Growing up in a small town and having experienced that, I want to experience it on a Texas level.
Couple of weeks, probably. Sometime mid-August is when they probably kick off, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, what about when you're not working? You mentioned you like to travel around, but what are you doing on a given weekend if you're not having to work? Favorite thing to do?
Texas in and of itself, you have everything from arid deserts, hill country. You have major city metropolitan areas. I didn't know the winery scene was as big as it was, so I'm discovering a lot of little wineries along the way. It's been an adventure. No 2 weekends are the same. Riverwalk down in San Antonio. Austin is always nice. I love the phrase, keep Austin weird. And when I say Austin, that's encompassing of the communities right around Pflugerville, Round Rock, Georgetown, all the little nuances.
Yeah, Hill Country's got a great wine scene, but so is the Waco area. My wife is a wine buyer for a local place on weekends, and she has me driving up to the Waco area from time to time too. So there's some great stuff up there near you.
So we covered wine, but we haven't covered food, which we tend to talk a little bit about. You come from some real rich areas with some history when it comes to food. Okay, so I got a couple questions for you. Between Savannah, Texas, or South Carolina, is there a state you prefer in general for the food scene? And then the secondary question
Antonio, answer this carefully. Answer it carefully now.
I think you know the second question that's coming, Shane. North Carolina or Texas barbecue?
Answer carefully.
I know my opinion on those two, on the barbecue piece.
It's totally different though. That's the thing. You can't compare it.
Yeah, one's bad, one's good.
True. We did just talk
No.
We did just talk about comparisons, right?
Different types of meat.
It's flavors too, though. I think it's the way it's cooked, it's flavors.
But
I'm going to let Antonio answer this.
Definitely, I'm going to plead the fifth on the barbecue question because they are different. When it comes to the food scene, though, you're talking to a foodie. So the Texas food scene is ridiculously.
Let's go.
they tout the Tex-Mex experience, but there are so many other little nuances that you find and delicacies that you find, just depending on whatever geographical area you're in. If you're a big soul food person, there's some great places in Dallas and around in Austin, these little mom and pops. If you are looking for Mediterranean, there's some great Mediterranean. So you can't really miss when you're looking at the food scene. I gotta admit though, I am partial. Growing up in the South, I'm partial to Savannah in that Gullah Geechee culture. But I'm in love with Texas. I never have a bad meal in Texas. I will say that first and foremost. But yeah, if I had to choose, my time in Baltimore, of course, the crab cakes were good. But I'm gonna stay in the South. I'm gonna stay with that Gullah Geechee home cooking.
Unbelievable. I'm gonna give you a chance.
That's our first night in Atlanta last year, or was it last year? Yeah, we went to that. We did.
And it was actually called, was it like the Gullah House?
I believe so. I'm sure Antonio would point us in the right direction. It was good. Just I'm sure there's some spots.
And it wasn't downtown. Like we had to drive there. So it was on the outskirts, which, it's not a typical like tourist city restaurant. So I'm not even sure how we found it, but we definitely do our homework when we're traveling for food.
And Tony, I'm gonna give you a chance to redeem yourself and not get kicked out of Texas. Tex-Mex. Tell us what you think about Tex-Mex down here.
I am loving it. I just found a little spot when I was in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago. Delicious. Can't remember the name of it, but I remember how to get there. That's
all that matters. Yeah, that's right. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I'm loving the Tex-Mex. Probably too much. I need to actually get up and start recreating a little more.
You need if next time you're in San Antonio, you need to try Chris Madrid's. That's a burger place.
Okay.
Chris Madrid's burger place. They also do nachos and they do some Mexican food stuff. And they have a cheesy burger where the cheese goes over the bottom patty and completely like lays out flat and gets like crystallized when they're grilling it. You got to try it.
Okay.
Well, Tony, I want to thank you for the time. This was awesome. It's great to see you, great to catch up, but also just reflect on your path and, what has gotten you there. And then also just, get some updates on how things are going and your perspective on leadership and especially LinkedIn. I think that was a great comment and discussion we have not had. So I hope people take things from that and maybe have a new approach on how they want to approach, LinkedIn and other platforms.
Thank you all for having me. I really enjoyed it. To all my Parks and Rec professionals, happy National Park and Recreation Month. Get out and recreate, enjoy what we do, because we do it for the service of people, but it's all for the service of us. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully in Orlando. And again, Thanks for this opportunity.
Awesome.
Thanks for being on,
Antonio. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. Welcome to Texas.
Thank you.
That was a fun conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah, what a fun, engaging guy.
Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed it. Even though we do know each other, I don't see him often, but I've really been impressed with what I've seen with stuff on LinkedIn and just known the impact he's had on the communities he's worked in. So I thought he'd be a good person to talk to. And obviously with your ties with Texas, Shane, I was just curious to see that if there was any sort of awareness of each other there prior to joining.
So first of all, he's got a Shane shirt that y'all don't have, which is cool. That's that Step Brothers shirt that I did for the Capitol.
I mean, but you've done about 50 and I only have 2. So yes, there's going to be a lot.
He's catching up. We got 3. Okay. You can count to 3. Just use the first 3 fingers, but you opened 3 shirts live like a couple months ago.
I can only think of 2 that I wear. Maybe I don't, maybe the third got buried somewhere.
There was a zip code one, a shady one, and there was one
I've never worn the shady one. I wear the other 2 all the time.
There you go.
But in other words, he's saying it's forgettable.
I guess so. There was 250 of us there, and he was announced as being new, and I never got around to talking to him. We had barbecue and the Capitol and everything else, but it's cool to see the impact that's happening over there for sure in the Central Texas area. And they're a different part of Central Texas than we are, but I know that wasn't an easy spot to step in, and I think we all know what it's like to have to potentially turn or re-steer an agency around, and it sounds like he's doing great things over there. So it was great to get to be on a call with him.
Guys, I just got the notification. Antonio accepted my invite to connect on LinkedIn. So, you know,
I mean,
he didn't.
what choice did he have? What a terrible thing to do.
Put it right
I would have, if I was him, I would have made it sweat it out a little bit. Don't do it immediately. Make
Sweat
you wait
it
a
out.
day or two.
Well, hey, you know, I had a good time and this was a great conversation. And I think we could talk a lot about Antonio and that conversation toward the end. What I really enjoyed too is sometimes we get, you know, into those rapid fires and it's a lot about maybe some park and rec parallels, but that was a lot of personal stuff, right? I really enjoyed getting to know him and that food conversation at the end. I just have to go out on record. Antonio's not on anymore, but when I went to Charleston and North Carolina in kind of the same trip, I went to a barbecue place. I wasn't doing as good research as I do now. This was a long time ago. When was the Charlotte conference?
10 years ago?
10 years ago, right?
At
So
12.
at least, right? So I
12.
was not doing the level of research. I just had been reading very little, you know, bits and pieces. North Carolina barbecue, a little bit different flavor and all that. I got sick from North Carolina barbecue, like down and out, could not eat the next day at a very good restaurant in Charleston after going from North Carolina to Charleston. And Texas barbecue in general, I just don't think it stacks up North Carolina to Texas.
Thank
It's just
you.
that's my opinion. I'm
Thank
not
you.
trying to get on Shane's good side or anything. It's just, yeah,
You're
it's
just
high,
being
it's
honest.
high level. I'm being
You're
honest.
just being
That's
honest that it's
very
the best.
high level barbecue.
What do you think about that, Jay?
We got into that. Remember the pit that we went into in Dallas? Like those guys do it. They
Oh, the
do
place
it
was
right.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Jay's
think
favorite
you-
place in North Carolina is an Austin place. So his favorite barbecue place in North Carolina is an Austin place. So don't let him
It's
tell you
actually-
anything
it's-
else.
It's in South Carolina, not North Carolina.
Whatever it is. It's in Carolinas. Rock Hill. I don't know where it is.
It's in Charleston.
Oh, nice.
What's it called?
Lewis Barbecue.
Made famous by Leroy and Lewis in Texas.
Good
Yep.
history
It's,
here.
it's an amazing spot. So, yeah, we could probably talk food and barbecue for a whole episode or two, but we won't.
Maybe we bring on a pit master so we can just
Yeah.
air it out.
I mean, people would listen. There's people out there. Not everybody.
That's fun.
I took a tour of weight room place the other day, and this Alico, this is European manufacturer. They have an Austin branch, and the Swede that runs it, the president, he has a persona on Instagram called the Smoking Swede, and he moved to Austin 8 or 10 years ago to run the American corporation of Alico, and has just bought into Austin barbecue and Hill Country barbecue, and now he actually, over years of learning it, has done his own barbecue, and he goes out and does catering now. So maybe we can find someone that's a park and rec professional that's catering or something and bring him on and not talk to him about parks at all. Say, listen, thanks for coming on. Just want to talk about brisket and rubs and all that stuff.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
Well, hey, guys, this was great. It's always good to catch up and speak with a new professional. So until next time, looking forward to another one.
See ya.
Happy
Hey,
Parks
guys.
and Rec
Take care.
Professionals Day.
This episode of RecLess wouldn't have been possible without the support of our agencies and our better halves, Melissa Salatino, Lindsay Tryon, and our executive producer, Hannah Mize. We also want to thank our director of hashtags and swag, Rooney Taylor, and our team of junior producers, Luke, James, Elizabeth, Grant, and Harper. Stay up to date on all things RecLess by following all of our social media, and like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast to ensure you don't miss an episode. See you next time on RecLess.